Well, it's Sunday morning and it's 7:20. Kevin got here at 7 and I've been here at 7, and we just finished putting the new shifter shaft in the primary, and it's only being closed up by 2 bolts right now because we wanted to test the shift action. Remember, when it wasn't working, it would shift, but it wouldn't snap back to the neutral position on the pedal. It would hang up. So we bought a new shifter shaft and we compared it to the old shifter shaft, and I swear they look identical, but it works. See it snapping back? Let's go ahead and spin that rear wheel, and I'm going to back out a little bit here. And let's see, we're in neutral now.
Nope.
No, we're in first.
First gear.
Okay, I'm going to... There's neutral. There's second.
Nope. Yeah. Well, no, first is up.
Versus...
This is Norton.
Didn't they change the pattern also when they did this?
I don't know, the 75s.
Yep. Okay, there you go. And there, that's
Okay,
fourth.
yeah, so
yeah,
it
they
is.
did. They changed the pattern.
Change the pattern, okay.
Okay.
Glad I knew that before. Test
So
right.
it's snapping back just fine.
Yeah. Okay.
We can now try neutral. Here's neutral.
Neutral. We're good.
All right, we got good shift action, which we did not have before. All we had to do is throw $1 billion shaft at it. And I swear this shaft, this old shaft, it does not look bent, it does not feel bent. I do not have an answer for you, but I do know that the new shaft solved the problem. Ergo ipso facto, we're now going to take the cover off and put it back on with a brand new gasket. All right. So, in the meantime, Kevin, this is basically the end of the... We can actually test ride this thing, can't we?
Mm-hmm. When I have long pants on.
Okay. All right, then maybe I'll ride it. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'll ride it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's close it up, put a little oil in it, and I'll test ride it.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, it's still Sunday. Kevin's gone home. It's about 10:15, and no, we've not been working this whole time. I'm gonna figure we put in maybe 1 hour on getting the bike put together and ready for a test ride. So that's the end of that. But now in the meantime, he's gone home and I'm bored. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I'm gonna do today for fun, and I'm gonna show you what is our next project. First, we'll talk about our next project. Kevin and I came into ownership of this 1975 Norton Commando. The 75. It already has a Sportster starter on it, which is very nice. We just took it outside and used a pressure washer on it to take 10 years of storage dirt off of it, and we found a motorcycle underneath of it. So we're going to rehabilitate this bike and make it a runner. And here's the seat and the tank and the side covers. And we're going to start stripping her down and make it a runner. And then decide what to do with it. Probably sell it. And that'll be a fun project, especially after we've just finished working on this 75. We're just going to basically do it over again. So, now, talking about this 75, it's ready for a road test, sort of. I mean, well, first of all, it's ready for a road test. The only thing it needs is oil in the primary. And I don't know if you know, but we sort of have a process around here. When we put something together, we let the gasket sealer, we refer to it as coagulate. We always let the gasket sealer dry 24 hours before we start the bike. So we're going to let this one sit here until tomorrow. Then we'll put oil in the primary and do a test ride. It's going to be a very cautious test ride. The tires are old, not worn, but old. So it's going to be a vertical ride around the neighborhood, turning corners very carefully. And basically our objective is to make sure the engine runs smoothly throughout the gears shift smoothly, the brakes work firmly, and it is as safe as can be made for going on a 50-year-old motorcycle. And then we'll turn it over to the client. He's going to take care of changing out the tires. So we hope to do a test ride on this tomorrow. We could have done it today, but like I say, we like to let the gaskets coagulate overnight. So now in the meantime, it's Sunday, it's 10:20 in the morning, and I cannot face another day or a day with nothing to do. So I'm going to do something to this bike that's completely out of spec, out of scope, okay? Something that the client did not ask for and is not going to pay for. But it's going to be fun because I'm bored. Okay, I'm going to take this dashboard completely off the bike. I have a new decal, which I'll put on. That's the minor part. But then I'm going to take all these wires that go up to the back side of this dashboard, all of these in here, and I'm going to disconnect them from the dashboard and then pull them down inside the headlight. And then I'm going to replace all of these LEDs, all of these incandescent old light assemblies. Those guys are going to be replaced with LEDs. I went online and I found these. I bought 2 packages of 10, so I got a bunch. And this is the new decal for the dashboard. I'm going to put a blue LED for high beam, a green LED for neutral, 2 yellows for left and right, and a red for the charge, ignition. And doing it this way because the way bikes are wired, normally from the factory, the original lights, these are incandescent light bulbs up here, regular light bulbs, and these are regular light bulbs, and these two just meet in the middle and turn this dashboard light on. Well, you can't do that with LEDs. The LEDs don't draw enough current to actually turn this on. So what happens is, if you hit left, you get all 4. If you hit right, you get all 4. So you can't use one LED up here. I did a huge search for a bidirectional LED with a center ground built into it and couldn't find one. If anybody knows where you can get a 3-wire LED that will turn on from 2 different directions and have a center wire that is grounded to positive, not negative, let me know, because that would be perfect. In the meantime, I couldn't find one. There are bidirectional LEDs, but you hit the juice to one side, you get green, you hit the juice to the other side, you get red. That could almost do it, but then the center wire on that expects a negative ground, not positive. So the positive ground bikes do tend to be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this light for left, and I'm going to try to put a light right next to it if there's room in here for right. So we'll have 2 yellow LEDs here, left and right. We'll see how that goes once I get that off and on the bench. So what I'm going to do, like I say, is extend all these wires down into the headlight and make all the connections down in here. It'll be a much neater package than having all these nasty wires up here. And like I say, these are really nice little LEDs. I've tested them all. The red ignition one does work with the assimilator, and everything else is just 12 volts in and ground, and everything works. So this is going to be fun. Now here's a couple of other options I explored. This is a 5 millimeter LED. These could fit inside the standard warning lights that are in the headlight for all the earlier Commandos and Triumphs. These could actually go up inside the light holder. So that's an option. And these are 3 millimeter LEDs, and one of my followers said that he took 2 of these and stuck them into the left-hand indicator on that built into the headlight, the larger one. And you could actually fit 2 of these in there and wire them separately to the left and right, and they actually throw enough light that the single indicator looks like it works on both left and right without interfering with the lights. So that's neat. These are 3 millimeter, 12 volt, universal, and they are even polarity independent, so it doesn't matter. So universal solid state. It's from Evan Designs. and feel free to contact them about your need for LEDs. Really nice people, good people. So, and these are the 5mm. They don't look yellow, but they are apparently yellow. Okay, so that's what I'm doing today because I'm bored. I'm going to put all these LEDs into the dashboard, wire them in, and see if I can make them work. And like I say, once again, it's not chargeable because it's way out of scope for the project. But if it works, it'll be really neat. And I love neat stuff. And I don't mind playing around with electric systems. So here we go. All right, still Sunday morning. It's 11:30 now. And I've got the dashboard completely off the bike. And the wires that go to all of the indicator lights are in a separate cable, which is nice. That's right here. I'll just stick that through the back of the light and make my connections there. So it's kind of nice that it's separate. And this is for the ignition light switch. So so far so good over here. Now over here, this took a little longer than usual, but right now I found out that these LEDs just push into the chrome bodies, like, let's see if I can see that, like that. They're separate. So that means I didn't have to worry about a specific color LED in a specific hole and stuff like that. So I just drilled out this extra hole here, and I'm going to put these LEDs in these places. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of quick drying epoxy on them from the other side, and then just leave them, because the light bulbs can be replaced just by pushing them in from underneath. So there's no need to make the whole thing removable. That'll be a big help. Okay. And here's the old ones. And the hardest part about this job so far was getting these indicators out with these one-time use press-on holders. But I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 useful light bulbs for small jobs where one light bulb is burned out and we just want to replace it with a stock incandescent bulb. So once again, these were permanent, held in with this, and these were removable plate replaceable from behind, which is the exact same thing I'm going to have here. These are going to be permanent, and these are going to be replaceable from behind. So that's where we are right now. I'm getting ready to take these out. They're just sitting here right now. And I'm going to take the old decal off and put the new decal on. And epoxy these into place, and then while it's drying I will extend these wires so that they can be installed and taken down into the headlight. So that's where we are. It's kind of fun. Well, it's still Sunday, and right now it's noon. How about that? Okay, so over here on the bench I have all of the LED sockets in place, the new decals on there. The LED sockets are in place with a preliminary little bit of epoxy on this side. As soon as they solidify, I'm going to flip it over and put a little bit of epoxy on the back side also. In the meantime, back at the ranch, these are the LEDs that I'm going to be using, and while this thing sets up, I'm going to go ahead and extend these wires probably a good 6 to 8 inches, it doesn't matter, so I can make a cable out of them that'll go down into the headlight and be able to hook it to the existing wires that used to be hooked directly to the lamps. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. It's fun. All right, it's still Sunday, and right now it's 12:30. I have over here the dash panel with the sockets in place, being held in place with some JB Weld Fast Dry. And when it dries completely, I'll put a little bit behind them. You have your 2 turns, neutral, high beam ignition. And here are green, 2 yellows with wires extended. This is blue, which is going to be the high beam, yeah. And I've got 1 leg extended, and I'm going to, this is how I'm doing it. I'm using these little heat shrink splices. I'll show you how they work. Just I hold it down with a couple of weights and watch the action. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see what happens when I hit it with the heat. Shrink down the inside of it. And there it goes. It's completely soldered. Boy, when it went quick. So now that's got to cool. And I have one more to do. This is red. That's the one for the accumulator. I'm going to use red and gray because you can't use two reds. But that's going to be next. As soon as this dries, cools down. And that'll give me all of the lights with extended wires, and I'll use some shrink to make that into a cable and run it down into the headlight. And the fun continues. All right, so I have all of these LED wires extended, and I'm going to go through and test each one and see how they go. Well, that's good. That one's good. One of our new turn signal lights here. Huh. Huh. Well, that one's deader than a doornail. All right, we'll hang on to him. Let's do another one. So what's with the yellow ones? If this doesn't work, I'm going to start looking at my battery. And it's not working. All right, so let's find out what's happening with my test. Let's just bypass the switch and go directly to the battery. Uh-huh. Works perfectly. Apparently I've got something wrong with my switch up here. So that's good. Let's try our yellow ones again. Oh yeah. It's working fine. And the final one. And it's working fine. Okay, so they all test good. I got to see what's happening with my test setup up here. Won't worry about that right now. Fuse is good. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so all the lights are extended, and the panel is set up and drying. And I'm going to call it a day because I don't want to mess with that panel until I'm 100% sure that the epoxy has completely dried and held those sockets in place. And then I'll make a decision how I'm going to bundle these into a cable that'll go down into the headlight. So that's it for today. We'll pick this up tomorrow probably. That's fun. That's fun stuff. All right, I think we're done for the day. Well, just as a quick addendum, I picked up my little test leads here, and the end fell off. So that's why it suddenly stopped working. So I have to rebuild that right here. I'll do that, and that'll put my test battery with the switched outputs back in operation. So, that's the way it is.